Hi, today is December the 7th. This is 2017. This is Ed Neyland from AC&E Home Inspection, here for just some interesting information for you guys. So, people often say, well, if you're in a very expensive house, do they really have problems, or can you have a problem? So the house we're in today is actually a house that's around $20 million. So I'm going to show you guys something that's wrong here in the guest house here on the property. And a couple of them are some minor issues, and some of them are larger issues and harder to fix. So what we have here is two electrical panels that you're seeing. All right, I've already pulled the covers off and put the covers back on. But basically, I'm going to explain to you what you got here. If you take a look, this panel right here is your main panel feeding this. This is 100 amps. The next issue you have really is that there's 26 breakers inside this here panel off a 100 amp breaker. So that's really pushing the actual service itself. But more importantly, larger problem is we're taking this 100 amp breaker right here. And if you guys take a look down here and see what I got going on, this is another 100 amp breaker. You can't feed a 100 amp service to a 100 amp service over here. And that's what we're doing. We're taking this 100 amp panel, 26 breakers, into another 100 amp breaker, feeding another 26 panels, breakers. So this is something that's going to need to be corrected. Really what I would do is probably pull a larger size line into this here panel, upgrade this panel to a 200 amp panel, and then make this the 100 amp feed going over into our sub panel over here. Alright, so let's go into the boiler room over here. Take you guys around. Alright. So the room itself is it's a nice solid room. It's got a good fire door on the room itself. We get into this here room, it is pretty tight. We have open cell foam insulation inside the room itself. And this is our hot water heater right here. Let me take a look at this. Okay. This hot water heater is one of the newer designs, and this actually has a power vent going to the outside, so we can vent the exhaust out. The problem that I got with this here room is it's so tightly packed, and we have a nice fire door, but we have no ventilation for this room. So we do have this hot water heater, which requires combustion, and it is going to need a fresh air source. Okay, I'm not so worried about the heating system, and there's two of them in this room, because these are high efficiency systems and they have their own intake and exhaust for each one of these systems. So you got one here, and we got one over here. Okay, let me grab a flashlight real quick for you guys. I want to show you the last issue in this room. So my last issue here in this room is, well, there's actually two for the same problem. We have a waste ejector pump right here, and by code, we have to have this thing connected to a GFI. It used to have a dedicated 20 back to the panel, but that's not the case anymore. This has to be on a GFI. Alright? This next issue that we have here, and I find this often, way too often. Actually, we had it yesterday in a house where people were complaining that they had a smell. They didn't know where it was coming from. And here's where it's coming from. Up here, if we take a look, we can see a trap, and then on top of the trap we see the condensate line. You see it's open right there, and the condensate line coming up. This condensate line goes down into this here trap, and then it goes down into the waste pump. Alright, so people think that by putting a trap in here that we're going to stop this here smell because it's trapped. Well, the idea is a good idea. The problem with this is this trap dries out, especially in the wintertime when we're running AC condensate into this. So when the trap dries, you have the smell from the waste pump, which actually comes right out through the top of this here system. and that's what gives the smell into this here room. So really what needs to be done is this needs to be capped up, and then this condensate line needs to be properly run to the outside, which would be real easy. We go right through that rim joist right there and just pipe it right out. So don't be surprised that a house that is $20 million versus $500,000 doesn't have its own set of problems. It does. Anyway, that's Ed Neyland from AC&E Home Inspection. Today is December 5th, 2017, and you guys have a great day. Thanks.